Stay in there or not? Follow away from John. Okay, well.
Won't be quite tennis to see. What do you do? Pull over?
No, I have to have her do tunnel, which I've done for years.
Peter, you would later on. Next we start to work, you can see your movement. Yes, that's good.
I've been around the world a couple of times and maybe more. Seen the sights, I've had the lights on every foreign shore. But when the mates will ask me the place that I adore, I tell them right, boy, what we tell them? Give me a home among the gum trees, with lots of plum trees, a sheep, a tuak, a kangaroo, a clothesline out the back, a veranda out the front, and an old rocking chair. You can see me in the kitchen, cooking up a roast, or Vegemite on toast, just you and me, a cup of tea. And later on we'll settle down and go out on the porch, and watch the possums play. Give me a home among the gum trees, with lots of plum trees, a sheep, a tuak, a kangaroo, a clothesline out the back, veranda out the front, and an old rocking chair. There's a Safeways up the corner and a Woolies down the street, and a brand new place they've opened up and they regulate the heat. But I trade them all tomorrow for a little bush retreat, with a kookaburra's call. Give me a home among the gum trees, with lots of plum trees, a sheep, a tuak, a kangaroo, a clothesline out the back, veranda out the front, and an old rocking chair. Up we go. Some people like their houses with fences all around. Others live in mansions and some beneath the ground. But me, I like the bush, you know, with rabbits running round, and a pumpkin pine out the back. Your turn. Give me a home among the gum trees, with lots of plum trees. A sheep, a tulip, a kangaroo, a clothes line out the back, veranda out the front, and an old rocking chair. Give me a home among the gum trees, with lots of plum trees. A sheep, a tulip, a kangaroo, a clothes line out the back, veranda out the front, and an old rocking chair.
He knows his stuff, that John Williamson fella. He does. You're looking out the back at a farm, which is a perfect start for our tribute to Roger today. You probably didn't notice because you were just sitting quietly reminiscing. I made a deliberate decision to start our service 3 minutes late. Thought that had hit the mark. To those people out on our streaming service, most welcome. I know there's been some people who have been upset at not being able to make it today, but the roads are cut off. You are with us just as much as if you were sitting here physically, and we want you to be part of us. And good luck with the water coming down. And a good morning to those gathered here today. Welcome, welcome, and thank you for being here. We gather today to mourn the passing of Roger Abreu, or Abby. Is that right, Susie? Is that correct? Abby? Abby? We gather to say our final farewells. We gather to pay tribute to Roger's life of 80 years. He would have been 81 in 4 weeks, if my arithmetic is correct. I've been told of a man who was a quiet, gentle man, a family man, a man of the land, and a man of the bees. And today we pay tribute to this man with a farmer's heart. A farmer's heart. With a life that began in Nathalia, some years in Melbourne working, and then a move to Forge Creek, Roger's farmer's heart carried him thoroughly through his life. Today's a sad day though, there's no doubt about that. The tears fall freely as memories come to mind. But I say to you all, it's not the real sadness in Roger's passing, rather than the wonder of his 80 years of life. And ladies and gentlemen, the wonder of his 47 years of life with Pam by his side. And I've been told that Melissa is a clone of her mum. As is Brock with the way he looks. The photos out in the order of service, just amazing, just amazing. Just a younger version, Brock. His strong, practical, independent wife. And ladies and gentlemen, let's pause for a moment to remember Pam, who very, very sadly left us in January 2008. And I have a sense that these two people would have been an amazing team. And for Melissa and Dean, and Brock and Camilla, you've lost a much-loved father and father-in-law. And for Izzy and Zach's out on the streaming service, Brock, your adored Poppy. And for Robin and Lynn, an adored big brother, I'm going to say. Is that correct? Have I got the lineage right? And for Izzy and Zach, Mum and Dad have both said that your Poppy was as proud can be when you were both born. Now we have lots of memories to share of our life and times with Roger. And ladies and gentlemen, as we pay tribute to this man and this man's life, we say thank you for all that you meant to us Thank you, Roger, for the gifts that you have left us. And so, ladies and gentlemen, recall a favourite memory, please. I'm sure for a lot of you it'll be on the farm. You may have a memory that you may have of Roger, anywhere you like, and hold it close. And I'm going to do this little reading. It's called simply Pa. We know that you can no longer stay with us. You fought so long and hard to be with us. We know that you now watch over and protect us. And although we cannot hear your voice or see your smiling face, we know deep down in our hearts that you have not left us. Instead, every day you surround us with the singing of the birds, the rising of the sun and the falling of the night. Yes, so many broken hearts are left behind. But in our deepest despair, our greatest comfort lies knowing that you are now at peace with the angels and God. So, as time passes by, our tears will dry, our hearts will mend, but our love for you will never end. That's just beautiful. The singing of the birds and the rising of the sun, all the things to do with farming. Look, the fact is, we've got a lovely tribute, so settle back. It's called the eulogy, Roger's story. And we're going to go with Roger being born in Nathalia with absolute bookends. If you look at the front of your order of service, the 14th of November 1941, every single one of those numbers is a bookend. To Mavis and Wal Abreu. Now, have I said that right? It doesn't sit properly. Thank you, Melissa. And sisters Robin and Lynn. And Mavis and Wal had a general store in Nathalia after the war, and they were always working. They had a strong work ethic, and they lived in Nathalia. Roger went to school at Nathalia State School, and then on to Nathalia Secondary, or I suppose Nathalia High in those days. Now, Roger had a great mate, Alan Condon, through school. They were inseparable through school. Inseparable through life. They were lifelong mates. And it just so happened that Roger needed to find work, as was the norm in those days, and stay in the country around his bees and his animals. Remember I said a farmer's heart? However, it became a need to find employment, and the possibility was a job in a paint shop in Melbourne. Roger was not happy with this possibility. But a solution was at hand, and a move to the Condon family as a general farmhand with milking and fencing and whatever needed to be done was the way of it. Now, I said Roger and Alan were great mates. They were also scout leaders and would often take scouts on camping trips along the Murray, teaching them bushcraft and bush skills in general, including staying away from tiger snakes, which leads me into another little story. Talk about enterprise and entrepreneurship. Roger, Alan and two other mates, Kenny Murrell and Barry Sheen, had a money-making project for young fellas. Each winter the Murray River would be flooded to keep those beautiful big red gums watered. And of course, the snakes would come out of the floodwater fairly, well, somewhat placid because it's cold, remember. The tigers, brown snakes, king browns they're called, and red belly blacks. So 2 out of 3 are probably of those snakes are the most venomous in the world. But these young blokes would capture these snakes, put them in super bags, and take them to the CSIRO for milking for anti-venom, and get a quid for it. Now, I mentioned Robin and Lynn earlier. Dad loved his sisters dearly, you girls, although when they took his Easter eggs and ate the chocolate and then wrapped them up again, Robin, he was not happy. And from that early age, this is what trauma does to you, from that early age, Dad hid his Easter eggs. Well done. And Susie Peg, I read this on behalf of you, as I said. My memories of Abreu, the most poignant memories I have of Abreu is of his coming to live with us. It would have been in the middle 50s. After he and Alan had finished higher elementary school at Nathalia. They were best friends. Abreu was meant to have gone to work in a paint factory in Melbourne, but he had his beehives on our farm and desperately wanted to be a beekeeper and a farmer. He walked out from town. He was about 16 years old with just his kit bag and a few belongings. I was at home and Mum and I saw him walking up the driveway. It was a sunny day. Mum took one look at him and said, "Roger, put your bag in the spare bed and Alan sleep out, and I'll talk to your mum. I'll talk to your parents." And that was the beginning of my second brother. This is perfect for little sisters. He let me tag along after him, ride on the back of the motorbike, and most of all taught me about the bees. I was the holder of the pine needle smoker when he was raiding the hives. Dad gave him space in the dairy for his equipment so he could separate and bottle the honey. He never raised his voice or became impatient with me. And although he had quite a temper and I was an irritating little pest, you didn't have to put that, Susie. I was. I didn't see him during the teenage years, but in 1971 there was an invitation to Roger and Pam's wedding in Lilydale, and there he was, a grown man, little change from the young boy of the 1950s. There were 4 boys in Nathalia who hung around together: Roger and Alan, and Kenny Murrell and Barry Sheehan, the snake gang. They just got up to a little bit of mischief, says Susie, but luckily nothing came of it. And Susie's remarked that they are all gone now. Well, whatever's going on upstairs, they better watch out. Well written, Susie. Thank you so much for those memories. And we continue. Roger eventually found full-time work at Bullock Cream, driving trucks. His passion for his beloved bees was almost a full-time job as well, one that has continued throughout his life. Around 1968, Roger decided to do a big lap around Australia, a trip around Australia with a mate. They had just enough money to buy an old 4-wheel drive, some spare parts for the old 4-wheel drive, some tin food, and they lived off the land, eating whatever they could shoot as they went around, making money as they went, and they were away for around about 6 months. Now, it just so happened that a young lady by the name of Pam Withers had just returned from an around-the-world trip. Pam took herself on a trip through Europe and other spots with a backpack and Pam. What an amazing, amazing trip. Well, there was a dance at the Hawthorn Town Hall in around about 1970-ish, and young Roger was hanging out with some, well, he wasn't so young, was he? He was hanging out with some mates, and he spotted Pam Withers in the crowd, and after having a long chat, Roger asked Pam out on an official date. That was good. They went out a couple of times, then one night, Roger was due to meet Pam to take her to the dance. When he arrived at Pam's parents' home, Mary said, "You're too late, Roger. She's gone to the Hawthorn Town Hall." And it must be noted at this early stage in the relationship that Roger was the proud owner of, well, Brock and I reckon, a 63 EJ panel van. And that Mary and Snow took a very dim view of Pam going in a panel van with this young man. Brock said, "A boy from the country with his panel van. Hey, what more could you want?" And it became part of their relationship that Roger was late most of the time. "I've been working with the bees, Pam." They were married on December the 18th, 1971. Thank you, Melissa. At St Andrews in Lilydale. And they moved in with Roger's Auntie Joan in Croydon. Melissa came along in 1972, and Brock, you're 1976. Yeah? Roger was still working at Bullock Cream, and then Foxborough in Churnside Park, which was a garden and maintenance company. He worked many years for Foxborough, and also started nights fell at coal, so he had a bit of a window of opportunity between 2 and 3 in the morning. Pam's brother Kevin often remarked that Roger was the hardest working man he'd ever known. But mind you, Pam wasn't sitting at home either. She was working as a seamstress. So together they had this work ethic. They built a home in Kilsyth on half an acre. Here we go, fruit trees and goats and chooks and a veggie garden. Well, it just reflects our first song, doesn't it? The family lived here until 84 or 85, we thought, until moving to Bairnsdale. Alan and Ann Condon and the Pollards and Rod and Peggy Condon were all living in the area because the family had lots of holidays up this way, you see. Around Australia though, South Australia, Victoria, Darwin, New South Wales, and lots of places in between. Now, some of you assembled here today may be aware that Roger enjoyed saving treasures. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. except when the family moved to Bairnsdale after they bought a 45-acre block on Forge Creek Road, there was 13 truckloads, and it has prompted Robin to add this. This is a good story, says Robin, typical of your dad. Eddie offered to help with the move from Kilsyth to Forge Creek. So went to Kilsyth to help load the truck. Eddie took one look at what was assembled and said to Roger, "You're not taking all of that shit." And Roger said, "It's all good stuff, I'll use every bit of it." Of course it was bits of wire and bits of pipe, the honey shed, and the truck was absolutely loaded, so much so that Eddie made the comment that the truck couldn't handle it. They got as far as Yarrigan before one of the tyres blew and had to be replaced. Most of the shit was used, sorry ladies, but that's just how it's written. Most of the shit was used or sold by Roger over the following years. You see, it is important, it's treasure. You never know when you're going to need it. Any bit of timber or pipe that's, up to about a metre, but half a metre will go flying. They moved out there. Alan Condon helped Roger build the house. Well, actually, Alan was the boss and Roger was a capable TA, we'll say. Roger joined East Gippsland Shire in the Parks and Gardens section. And he was totally passionate and meticulous, as I think most of you will be aware that was the man that he was. If you do something, you do it well. And he retired about 2007. But that 45 acres on Forge Creek enabled Roger to return to the land, fulfilling a deep-seated passion, and of course to be close to Alan. Just because he had a bit of time to himself, and it was like I said, he had a window of opportunity between 3 and 4 a.m. We know what a worker he was, and I say that with tongue in cheek, because he had a bit of time to himself, he developed a lawn mowing round, which he had almost up until when his licence was taken away about 2 years ago. And one of Roger's other loves was going to the tip and bringing home many usual, important treasures. I love that word. Much to Pam's annoyance. And that is why the property is named Gonna Do. Because of his treasures, one day. I said earlier, very sadly, Pam passed away on Australia Day, the 26th of January 2008. And Roger never quite got over Pam's passing. Pam was always the manager. But you know, Roger learnt to cook and pay the bills. And he was, I'll say it again, he was absolutely delighted to welcome you and Zach into the world. Zach, I hope you were watching right this minute, because your Poppy was so proud of you both. Roger never really went to doctors. His health was good. He's really enjoyed good health. Living on the farm with Cassie the Kelpie and his other dogs over the years, his bees, his veggies, with wonderful support from neighbours and friends, here and after called the support crew. You're amazing. He loved his days with the bees, spending time with Bob Stevenson and Ray Gribbon. Yet 3 years ago, Roger was diagnosed with Parkinson, but it didn't slow him down. Those of you who have seen him in the recent past knew that it wasn't going to pull him up. It was not going to pull him up. He still wanted to work. He was still jumping on the trailer, pushing trimmings and stuff down, rubbish down to be taken to the tip. 12 months ago, the first cancer diagnosis came along. And in January to May, the Royal Melbourne Hospital beckoned. Roger moved to Painesville Gardens in May, and Melissa and Brock want to say to any people from Painesville Gardens, you are just the most wonderful, loving and caring crew that they could have wished for their beautiful dad. Roger left us on Wednesday the 5th of October at 10 o'clock at night. But the real sadness is that Roger wasn't able to return home to check on his beloved Gunnedu. We know, we wish him peace, we know, and we also know that he and Pam have caught up. And they're probably in the garden. It's an amazing story, an amazing story. Time to pause, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to watch a beautiful, beautiful photo presentation with the big Hawaiian fella somewhere over the rainbow, Big Israel. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Kim.
The colors of of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, singing, how do you do? They really say, I love you. I hear babies cry and I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than we'll know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Someday I wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like a lemon drops high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. The dreams that you dare to, why, oh why can't I, ooh.
Standing like this for a reason. Now, I can smell Connie and Andy's sausage rolls warming. So please, ladies and gentlemen, when our tribute to Rogers is at ad man, if you're able to, please stay with us, share some more memories and some of Connie's magnificent cooking. Come on, Izzy, it's your turn. Izzy, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Good.
Poppy, you were the best granddad ever. You were loved and you always will be. You are now up there with Grandma, you shall be happy. Everyone will miss you, especially your family. You were always very kind-hearted and no one I can know can replace you. As the name Poppy, you're unique and very funny. You and my life made me better. What I loved about you, you can make someone laugh, smile, or be happy just like that. You would read a book to me on a chair, you would finish the book, and I would be asleep like a log. I found out when I was little that I loved tractor rides, and I shared a tractor ride with you at Raina's auction. When I got older, I heard this story about a Christmas cake. When Val Stevenson would bake you a Christmas cake and you would give the family a tiny slice and put it back in the tin for you later. As did other times when we did things together. This made me laugh. I will miss you dearly. Love you. You'll always be my Poppy. Goodbye.
Izzy, that was just beautiful, darling. That was just beautiful. And I saw the photo of, was you and Poppy on the red tractor? Yes, 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 yes. See if you can hear Roger's voice as I read this second reading to you. It's in your order of service and you're welcome to follow it if you'd like. It was beautiful as long as it lasted. The journey of my life. And I have no regrets whatsoever, save the pain I'll leave behind. Those dear hearts who love and care. And the heavy with sleep, ever moist eyes. The smile in spite of a lump in the throat and the strings pulling at the heart and soul. The strong arms that held me up when my own strength let me down. Each morsel that I was fed was full of love. At every turning of my life, I came across loving family and good friends who stood by me, even when the time raced me by. Farewell, farewell, my family and friends. I smile and I bid you goodbye. Shed no tears, for I need them not. All I need is your smile. If you feel sad, do think of me, for that's what I'd like. When you live in the hearts of those you love, remember them. You never die. Sometimes simple words are profound to the max. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pause for a minute and I'll offer you an opportunity, if you would like, to come forward to Roger and say your own quiet goodbye after Melissa and Brock and the family have had a chance. And Rob and Lynn, you are most welcome. We're going to listen to the lyrics of this John Williamson song as well, because I think it encapsulates all that we want to say to Roger. Thank you, Kel. Thank you, Kimmy.
To hear your voice, to see you smile, to sit and talk to you a while, to be together the same old way, that would be our greatest wish today. To hear you laugh, to hear you cry, or just a chance to say goodbye, to say the things we didn't say, that would be our greatest wish today. But all we can do is throw a flower on the water, look for the sun through the rain, lay a little frangipani gentle along the water, remember how we loved you. To comb your hair, to lace your shoes, buy some flowers, let you choose, a phone call when you're away, just to see if you're okay. Hear your voice, to see you smile, to sit and talk to you a while, to be together the same old way, that would be our greatest wish today. But all we can do is throw a flower on the water, look for the sun through the rain, lay a little frangipani gentle along the water, remember how we loved you, remember how we loved you. All we can do is throw a flower on the water, look for the sun through the rain, lay a little frangipani gentle along the water, remember how we loved you, remember how we loved you. And all we can do is throw a flower, remember how we loved you, look for the sun through the rain, remember how we loved you. And all we can do is throw a flower on the water, remember how we loved you, remember how we loved you.
It's time to say farewell to Roger. And I keep coming back to the bees and his love of animals and his farmer's heart. My greatest hope is that he and Pam have reunited, they've found each other. my greatest hope that he found his farmer's heart out there in Forge Creek. He came up here partly, probably 75%, for a bloke called Alan Condon, and I'll probably make you cry, but the privilege that you gave me all those years ago, and now the privilege of looking after Alan's best mate Roger today it's just wondrous. It's an honour. Thank you. Thank you. So each time you drive past, going to do, you'll smile and think, well, there'll be no more treasures, but until Brock and Melissa get into gear, they'll be there stored ready for use. And I think that's the way we remember Roger. Quiet, gentle man, patient, as Susie said, very patient with little girls. And there was a photo of Izzy and Poppy there, and I thought of you, Susie, following Roger around. We've got to smile because he's given us so much. The tears, they hurt. The pain is great. But let's keep him in our hearts. What did we say before? If we mention someone's name, they stay with us. And like Izzy said, my puppy made me smile, he made me happy. So when the tears slowly dry, those memories of those happy events they'll still be there. They'll be still there. You never know, you might end up being a beekeeper. Ladies and gentlemen, if you feel that you'd like to, please join with me in the words of the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. And let us now commit Roger's body for cremation. Thank you, Kim. And in doing so, we acknowledge that we come into this world with nothing, and we depart with nothing. However, the wonder of our time on this earth is that we leave behind warm, enduring memories to mark our years and to sustain those left behind. For those of you who like Roger, may memories be your comfort. For those of you who loved him, may you hold a sacred place in your hearts and a knowing smile on your lips. Rest peacefully, Abby. Rest peacefully. Another John Williamson, ladies and gentlemen, to finish our tribute. As I say, please, if you're able to, stay with us and enjoy the hospitality of Connie and Andy and many, many more memories. Thank you all so much for being here to honour Abby this morning. Thank you all so much. True blue, ladies and gentlemen, John Williamson. Thank you, Cal.
Hey, true blue, don't say you've gone. Say you've knocked off for a smoker, and you'll be back later on. Hey, true blue. Hey, true blue. Give it to me straight, face to face. Are you really disappearing? Just another dying race. Hey, true blue.
Everybody stand, please.
True blue. Is it me and you? Is it mom and dad?
Please call us out.
Is it a cockatoo? Is it standing by your mate when he's in a fight? Or just begging mom? I'm asking you.
So right to the back, here, and then we're going to lift. Yep, like we would normally put in the front. Lift.
Gimme, that's it. Good, good, good. Watch Owens. Go.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah, do you want to bring this home? Izzy, do you want a special one too? I'll bring this one back.
Is it